You know those giant, windowless buildings you always see on the side of the highway? I mean, they're everywhere. But have you ever really thought about what's going on inside one of them? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and go inside the industrial machine. We're going to uncover the hidden logic that pretty much makes our whole economy tick. So let's get right into it.
So, first things first, forget the idea that a warehouse is just a big, empty box. It's not. It's way more like a highly tuned machine, a logistics engine that's designed for one thing and one thing only: absolute efficiency. Every single little feature we're about to look at is basically a gear in this massive machine, and it's all about moving goods.
So, the big question is, how does this machine actually work? To figure that out, we're going to follow the journey of a single package. We'll track it from the moment it arrives on a truck to the shelf and all the way back out the door. And along the way, you're going to see the hidden genius behind these buildings that look so simple from the outside.
All right, our journey starts exactly where you'd think it would, with the truck. I mean, getting these enormous vehicles into the right position is the very first and maybe the most critical step in the whole process. And believe me, it's a carefully choreographed dance of concrete and steel.
First up is what's called the shipping apron. Think of it like the official welcome mat for every truck that pulls up. This huge slab of concrete right in front of the loading docks isn't just for parking, no way. It's a heavy-duty maneuvering zone, and it absolutely has to be reinforced concrete because it needs to handle the crushing weight of a fully loaded tractor trailer day in and day out. And this is where that choreography really kicks in. A 53-foot trailer can't just, pull up to the door. It needs a massive amount of space to back in, to straighten out, and to get lined up perfectly with the dock. If that apron isn't big enough, you get an instant traffic jam, and that can bring the entire operation to a grinding halt. All of this need for space, it really just boils down to one critical design factor: the truck turning radius. It's exactly what it sounds like: the minimum amount of space a vehicle needs to make a turn without hitting something. And for an 18-wheeler, that space is enormous. It basically dictates the entire layout of the property. Think about it this way. A small delivery van, it can pretty much turn on a dime. But a full-on tractor trailer, it needs this wide, sweeping arc to get around. And that is why you see so much what looks like empty pavement around these big distribution centers. It is not wasted space at all. It's absolutely essential maneuvering room that lets the whole machine run smoothly. Okay, the truck is in position. Now all the action moves from the outside to the inside. So let's head inside the box and see how all those goods get stored and moved around efficiently. And this right here is the loading dock. You can think of it as the critical bridge connecting the truck to the warehouse. By making the warehouse floor the same height as the trailer bed, a forklift can literally just drive right in, grab a whole pallet of furniture, and drive straight back out. It's a really simple but totally brilliant piece of engineering that makes super fast unloading possible. And here is why the number of docks is so incredibly crucial. It's a direct measurement of how much stuff the warehouse can handle. If you have too few docks, you get a traffic jam of trucks just waiting outside, and that creates this really expensive bottleneck that can send ripples through the entire supply chain. Okay, so once the goods are inside, the name of the game is all about vertical space. When you can't build out, you build up, and this is where clear height becomes so important. Now, it's not just the height of the ceiling, it's the totally usable space from the floor all the way up to the lowest hanging thing, like a beam or a sprinkler system or a light. That's the real measurement of how high you can stack your goods. And the difference it makes is just staggering. Look at this. Warehouse B, with its 36-foot clear height, can store way more inventory than Warehouse A, and they have the exact same footprint on the ground. This is why modern warehouses are being built with clear heights of 30, even 40 feet. It's all about maximizing how much you can store and ultimately how much money you can make. Of course, stacking things really high means you have to be able to navigate around the inside, and that brings us to columns. Column spacing, or just the distance between these big support pillars, is another huge factor. You need them to hold up the roof, but they're basically obstacles that every warehouse layout has to be designed around.
And when it comes to columns, the wider the spacing, the better. I mean, just imagine you're driving a forklift. Would you rather drive through a dense forest of columns that are only 20 feet apart, or an open field where they're 50 feet apart? It's a no-brainer. Wider spacing means more efficient paths for forklifts and longer, uninterrupted rows for all your storage racks. It just makes the whole floor a lot more functional.
But hey, not every single delivery arrives on a massive truck, right? And that's where grade-level doors come in. These are basically just garage doors at ground level. They let smaller vehicles like vans drive directly into the building.
You'll see these a lot in smaller, more specialized industrial buildings.
So we've talked about arrival and we've talked about storage, but what if storage isn't the goal at all? What if the main objective is simply speed? Well, welcome to the fast lane of the warehouse world.
This whole strategy is known as cross-docking, and honestly, it's like the pit stop of the logistics world. The entire goal is to get goods in and then back out as fast as humanly possible, a lot of times just completely eliminating the storage step altogether. So here's how it works. An inbound truck docks on one side of the building. Packages get unloaded, they're immediately sorted right there in the middle, and then they're loaded directly onto outbound trucks on the other side of the building. A perfect example is a courier company trying to sort packages for next-day delivery. That, right there, is cross-docking in action.
So the whole design, the entire layout of a cross-docking facility, it's all driven by this one single relentless focus on speed. That's it. It's all about cutting down the time that goods spend sitting in the warehouse and getting them back on the road as fast as possible.
Okay, so we've looked at all the individual parts, the aprons, the docks, the clear heights, you name it. But what's the fundamental principle, the golden rule, that ties this all together?
Well, it really all comes down to a super simple formula. Trucks plus storage. Every single feature of a modern warehouse is designed to do one of three things. Make it easier for trucks to get in and out, maximize the amount of goods you can store inside, and do all of that as quickly as possible. That is the golden rule of warehouse design.
All right, let's put that knowledge to the test. Pop quiz. For a large distribution warehouse, which one of these features is the most important? Is it A, B, C, or D? I'll give you a second to think about it. And if you chose B, you are exactly right. A huge distribution center is absolutely nothing without a constant, steady flow of trucks. Having a proper turning radius isn't just some nice feature, it's the absolute lifeblood of the whole operation. So the next time you see one of these massive buildings, remember, it's not just a box. It's a finely tuned machine built for the dance of the 18-wheeler.